Hello, I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor, and today I'm going to talk about whether you should hit up or down with your driver. Stay tuned. If this is your first time here, welcome. This channel is all about helping you play better golf. So today we're going to talk about should you hit up or should you hit down with a driver? Well, it actually depends. There's no right or wrong answer. There are golfers hitting the ball exactly the same distance that some hit up and some hit down. Just as a basic rule of thumb, the average on the US Tour at the moment is they hit down 1.3 degrees. So they're actually hitting down on it. If the average person did that, they wouldn't hit a very good shot. So the pros can get away with it because of club head speed. So in general, anyone with a club head speed in excess of 100 miles an hour, they need to hit down on it to launch the ball correctly. So what we're trying to achieve is a launch angle of between 12 and 14 degrees with the least amount of spin. Now, if you hit down on it, the ball spins a little bit too much. But if you've got a lot of club head speed, it doesn't. Probably a good comparison is if we look at what the LPGA Tour does. Now, they're more like us. They're certainly more like me. I don't swing at anything like 100 miles an hour, but the average LPGA Tour player, they hit their driver at about 94 miles per hour, and they hit up on average 3 degrees. So it really depends a lot on swing speed. Now, when I coach someone with the driver, the first thing I look at, even without the technology of launch monitors, I look at how they tee the ball up. Now, if they tee the ball up quite low, I already know that I have someone in front of me that hits down on the golf ball. Yet if I see someone there with a big tee that's nice and high, I know that they're going to be a golfer that hits up on the ball. So you need to establish whether you are better hitting down or better hitting up. So the best way of doing it would be to have a session with a golf coach, with a launch monitor, to actually assess it. But you can do some of these things yourself. So if you currently tee it low and you hit down on it, what actually happens is the golf ball is being struck low in the club face. So if the ball is being struck low in the club face, that's sort of going to help pop the ball up, and it's going to have a lot of spin. So if you were to put some tape on the bottom of your club face and have a look at where the mark is, anything below the middle or the equator of that club face, you hit down on it. Anyone that puts some tape on the face and they get ball marks up the top, you're hitting up on it. The other thing to think of is there's a lot of talk about whether, hitting up and down. Should you actually try to hit up? The way I like to think of it is that as I swing this golf club, it's a U shape. At some point my club is coming down, at some point it's parallel to the ground, and at some point it's coming up. So I think whether you're hitting up or down has a lot to do with your ball position too. The further forward I play the tee, my driver is going to be coming up towards the ball. So the further forward you go, you need to tee the ball up higher to accommodate that. If I tee the ball lower, I need to get that ball position back in my stance a little bit. So you don't have to try to think about hitting the ball up. You don't have to try to think about hitting the ball down. The club is going to come down and is going to go up at some point. Unfortunately, I do see some people reading magazines, books, watching other YouTube videos where everyone insists, oh, you've got to hit up on the ball. So they do something like this. So that went really low because I've caught that right out of the bottom of the club face, and that ball didn't get more than about 10 feet high all the way through. So you shouldn't make it do that. How do we try and hit up on the ball if we have to? Okay, so if you really have to, what I would suggest is when you get to the end of your backswing, the first thing you need to do is to just let that left hip turn. So by letting my left hip slide and turn, that creates a bit of tilt in my swing axis, which means I'm going to launch my club up a little bit. So I don't want to fall back, that's not going to do it, because that's then going to manipulate my hands and I'm going to top it and I'll lose club head speed. But if I can get up here and if I can just slide my weight slightly to the left and let it turn, that's going to help tilt my spine a fraction, which is then going to make my club come upwards. But only if my hands stay slightly ahead. If I do that, it's not going to work. I'm going to top it, I'm going to lose club head speed. It's just going to be a poor shot. So we don't want to flip the hands, we want to keep the hands, that left wrist has got to stay slightly in front, but my right hand is then turning the club through the ball. So if we can do that, we're going to launch it nice and high. A good little test would be to get a sleeve of golf balls. So I've got my Mizuno MP balls here, and if I put that just about 1.5 boxes in front, if I do the right swing, I shouldn't hit that sleeve of golf balls. So remember, I'm trying to get up here and I'm trying to tilt my back just by letting that left hip go first. So we'll see how I go with it. So there was a nice high launch angle. I pulled it very slightly, but that ball did get right up in the air. And you'll notice that I didn't hit that box. You could also use your head cover if you wanted to. You're only limited by your imagination with these things. You've probably gathered that I don't recommend you go out and buy any swing training aid. Everything you need to do is freely available around. So we'll do that one more time. So I get up to the top, I'm going to slide and turn that hip. That's going to tilt my axis and enable me to hit up on it. There you have it. That's how we hit up on it. To hit down on it, all we need to do is move that ball position back. So I'm going to move the ball position back just a fraction. That last one I had it level with my left heel. I'm going to move it back a fraction. And this time I'm not going to try and think about turning it and tilting my left hip out of the way. I'm just going to work on hitting the golf tee more so than the ball. So that one I hit down on, and that ball actually went quite high. So generally speaking, if you hit down on the ball, you're going to tend to hit it a little bit straighter. It won't go as far because the ball spins more, but you will hit it a little bit straighter because of the ball spinning more. The more backspin we generate, the less it can move sideways. But if you really want to hit a bomb, hitting up does make you hit a little bit further. So I hope that I've cleared that up for you. Thank you for letting me help you with your golf. I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor. And if you like my videos, you can click on the subscribe button down on the round avatar there. You can get further information on my Facebook page or my Twitter feed, or you can sign up to my electronic newsletter at thegolfdoctor.com.au.